give you
Welcome to Cooking with Miss O. Let's join Mary Beth Oxendine in the kitchen as she teaches you how to cook Southern style healthy.
Welcome to Cooking with Miss O. I'm so happy to be back again. We, as you know, we started with the cookbook, so again, we're going to be cooking out of the cookbook. We're going to do day one's lunch, and that's my chicken salad. I have a friend here with me today. We've known each other how long, Debbie?
23 years.
And her name is Debbie Howell, and she lives here in Greenville, but she'll come down and see us in Central sometime, leave the big city and come to the country. And she is with Child Evangelism, and I'm going to let her, while we're getting the chicken salad all ready for you, if you already have your cookbooks, just turn to page 35 and go along with us, okay? And I will be taking you through that, and we're fixing lunch for Debbie, my friend that's here today. Debbie, why don't you start cutting the celery while I start chopping the chicken, and tell them about Child Evangelism and what you do with that. First of all, they need to know that Debbie, like myself, we're both elementary ed teachers. Where'd you go to college, Debbie?
I went to Baptist College at Charleston. It's now Charleston Southern.
That's a good school, but not as good as the Tigers, y'all. So she should have come to Clemson. She was in Greenville.
I did my master's work at Clemson.
You did? Okay, you're okay then.
Good, thanks.
Go ahead, Debbie. Why don't you tell us about Child Evangelism?
Child Evangelism Fellowship, some of you may know it as Good News Clubs. We are in Greenville, Anderson, Oconee, and Pickens counties. We have 98 school clubs and several community clubs that meet once a week for an hour to share Bible lessons, memory verses, songs. It's a fun-loving hour. Right up to this point, we've had about 10,000 children enrolled in Good News Clubs, and we have 1,907 volunteers. So that means that local churches adopt these school clubs, and they bring in volunteers to help with the Good News Club. And also, Mary Beth, you will love this fact. We've had 1,054 salvations.
How wonderful. Isn't that wonderful, Debbie?
It is great.
And now
to
with
God be the glory.
That's
Excuse
exactly
me.
right. With Tom in heaven, that means so much to me now.
I know it does.
It really does.
I know it does.
So,
and we have so many wonderful stories of things children have done. One mom wrote in and told us that they couldn't go to church on Sunday, and so she went back to check on her second grader and found him in the den on the computer looking at our mygoodnewsclub.com website, which is for children.
How wonderful.
And it has songs and memory verses and Bible lessons on it. And he said, if we can't go to church, I'm having my own church. And he was singing Good News Club songs.
is that not sweet? Now, those of you that are moms with kids, say that again.
It's www.mygoodnewsclub.com.
So their children can go on and get all this information and enjoy it, right?
It's
So
kid safe.
it's kid safe. That's wonderful. All right, now I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I already cooked up my chicken. I had it in my Food Smart. Y'all know how much I love this with Tupperware. Purple lid, that's how you can tell. And I've cooked it up. And then the broth from that is what I will use for Tuesday night's dinner. And if I wasn't making all this, and I usually don't make all of my the first day's lunch into chicken salad, I used to save some of it out for my dinner on Tuesday night, but I'll just cook more. In the cookbook, I'm cooking a whole chicken, but I wanted to show you something easier. I use Springer Mountain. Ingalls is the only place that carries it. It's, Debbie, this is wonderful. This is chicken with no antibiotics, and you know that we have a problem with chemicals in our family and being able to eat stuff. So it's wonderful. It has a wonderful clean taste to it, and it cooks up, and the water's just clear and clean. It's not any of that dark and skimmy stuff on the top, so I love this, and I get that at Ingalls. And of course, my favorite Paula Deen is on the front right there. Debbie, did I ever tell you about the summer that we went down and Marie, my daughter, and I got to be on a Paula Deen chefography at the end, and we got to meet her and her sons, and they were precious to us. I'm going to show you, I use a Bosch food processor. Most of my appliances are all Bosch's, and my grinder is not, but my mixers and all that I do my bread in. And I'm going to do this real quick. It's going to be a little bit loud. You go ahead and chop if you want, Debbie.
Okay.
We need half a cup of that celery. Now this does it pretty quick. If you have a food processor, you'd want to leave some good chunks in there, just not any real big ones, and I think that's perfect like that. So now in the recipe, I take a bowl and I whisk up my dressing first. And I have my yogurt. This is plain yogurt by Stonyfield, and I will have that. Debbie, would you look in that refrigerator and get my Stonyfield out so they can see what it is, please? And then I have organic mayonnaise. Now, I used to use Duke's. Absolutely love Duke's. But Duke's now has started putting a chemical in it that we just can't have for a preservative. And so I don't use it anymore, which has broken my heart. So I now use an organic mayonnaise. And would you get that out too, please,
I'd be
Debbie?
glad to.
Here is the yogurt I'm using. And for kids, this gets their dairy in it. And for us ladies, it gets our dairy in there. And then we're not getting a lot of sugar if you use the plain. And this is the mayonnaise that I use. I use it by Spectrum. Ingles sells all of this. Bilo also sells the yogurt. And sometimes Walmart has it too. Now, Debbie,
Yes.
I have all these spices I'm going to do here. Y'all, I have the dried yellow mustard. I buy this at Ingles. You can also get it at Whole Foods. And I forgot my little bowls, Debbie, my little bitty ones. So I have these old big ones here. So I also use the black pepper organic. This is all by Frontier. Y'all have seen me use it before. You can get this also at Whole Foods, but I get my stuff at Ingles in my town because Whole Foods is here in Greenville. This is the organic garlic powder, and then my sea salt, which is right there. And I get all that at my Ingles store.
So Mary Beth, you use organic
Spices.
spices.
Now let me tell you why. Because spices are radiated, except if they're organic. So you have no nutritional value if you buy any other spices except organic ones. I also know that they're chemically free, which we need because of our family. So then we're going to take a whisk, and this is a Pampered Chef whisk, which I love Pampered Chef. And this glass bowl you can get at the dollar store, at Walmart, wherever. But I like the glass because then y'all can see through it, but I like it too. It's easy for cleanup and everything like that. This is our sauce for our chicken. And what we're going to put in here right now, sometimes if people don't like yogurt, you can replace it with skim milk, organic, but don't use as much. We used, I think it was 2/3 cup, so I would start with 1/3 of a cup of the milk because it's more liquidy and you don't need it. Now it has a wonderful texture. It's thickened enough, has a good smell. The yogurt you don't really taste. If you want to dump those walnuts in over here,
Oh, good.
Debbie,
Okay.
that'd be great.
Into the sauce.
Just dumping in the sauce. And would
Okay.
you fill that up with celery for us,
I'd
please?
be glad to.
We use organic celery. I buy that. Now, I found that just about everywhere, y'all. You can buy organic celery. Walmart probably doesn't have it, but Ingles and all those do too.
So Mary Beth, how are the children doing?
Well, Josh got married this summer. And we had a big wedding, and that was a lot of fun. And I have a sweet little daughter-in-law, and they're doing real good. Josh got Teacher of the Year at Pendleton Middle School.
And what does he teach?
He teaches South Carolina history. You know, he's in the history department just like Tom. And Marie teaches 2nd grade. And she also has a cross-country team at the high school where she teaches. And
Family
so,
of teachers.
I
How
know,
nice.
isn't it, though? They're all just like their daddy, and I'm proud of them.
And their mother, too.
Yes, that's true. You're right. Now, dump that in, too, please.
Celery, ready for the
Yes.
celery? Okay.
And now, we are going to use the spoon for this. Debbie, you want to stir this up for me?
Sure.
There you go. There, if you'll toss that around so it's all wet.
Okay.
Now, while you're doing that, I want to talk to you about Kathy's Produce. It's what you see at the beginning of the show. I've been with Kathy's Produce since my daughter, who is now 25, was 2 years old. And so they're in Clemson. They're on the Clemson Highway that goes from out of Clemson onto Anderson. And they have all this produce. And I'm so excited because they're open again. I cannot wait till March when they open, and they try to stay open until through October, and that's wonderful. Now, I want to show you the cantaloupe that I got from there this morning. I went today and got all my produce. What I love about them is they are the best around for produce in the Clemson Central 6 Mile Anywhere area, because he goes and gets it from Asheville. They get it from local places, which that means you have the nutrients you need around here. And then they also don't get it from Mexico, which I appreciate because different chemicals are sprayed there. And I really appreciate that it's fresh. And then in the summertime, they grow their own. So then in the middle of the summer, they start using their own grown that's grown up around Westminster or Walhalla. And that is wonderful, because then we're getting really local stuff. Now, for all of y'all in the Clemson area, they have strawberries. This is the earliest the strawberry farm is put out, and because we've had this wonderful weather. And so y'all can go get strawberries. These strawberries are what I just picked up this morning. See the tomatoes, the radishes, the cucumbers, all of that has come from them. All right, we'll be right back in just a minute. I appreciate it. Thanks.